Hello, this is Matthew Chan.
And I'm Tony Centavo.
Welcome to the TurnKey Publishing Show. And in this episode, we're going to talk about a topic that I had not talked about previously. And actually, going forward, we're going to devote at least a couple of good episodes to it. And that's the topic of audio publishing. Now, the reason why I'm passionate about audio publishing is that, first of all, it doesn't get talked about very much.
That's right. Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the publishing is centered on books, but really, people don't really understand what audio publishing is all about. People kind of think that, what audio publishing is you take the book and you read it into the microphone.
Right.
And you know what? That's the way the traditional publishers do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's boring and... What can I tell you? It's very boring, and they spend a ton of money on it.
Yeah.
Now, as an entrepreneur, I'm not interested in spending a ton of money. I'm interested in being effective.
Well, I was going to say, nothing he does is boring either.
Well, it's all relative. And I'm especially excited to talk about audio publishing with Tony because Tony is well qualified to talk about what it's like to be in a project, since you were in two of our titles in the TurnKey Investor Series.
I sure was, yeah.
And, we've got the photos, and I remember it was actually in this room, and you were sort of a willing spirit. You didn't know what you were getting into, but you said, these guys, you saw that we had a few products and stuff like that. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I was willing to jump in the boat and see where we're going.
So why, I just want to go back in time. This was 2007. What was it that intrigued you about that? I mean, because you certainly didn't get a lot of glamour from it.
No.
I mean, Wes and I were the headliners, and you were sort of the host, but you wanted to be part of it, and we felt, it would be kind of fun to have you on board.
Well, it was fun, and there are a couple of things that converged to contribute to my opportunity. Three things actually. One was the fact that you're willing to have me. But one thing that I had done back in my military experience was, now this might seem strange to connect these dots, but interrogation. And the fundamental
interrogation, okay.
well, that's the art of asking questions, seeking specific information. I mean, there's actually an art to doing that, and from the standpoint that I felt that I had something to contribute. Because as you later commented, that was very easy for you to do it because you were talking to someone as opposed to just talking. And the specific process of asking those questions helped to provide a lot more fulfilling product in the sense of hitting all the key points within the context of the conversations. Now, the other aspect that helped me to be comfortable with it and excited about it was I had been on radio a number of times, and I was always the person being interviewed. Right. So from the standpoint of knowing some people made that easier than others because there was always a program or something that we were wanting to promote or some ideas we wanted to get across. Sometimes they weren't quite guiding me to conversationally put out the points that I wanted to make. So I think I had learned some things that I wanted to contribute to what you were doing there. So the key thing was that I felt that the audio publishing was an opportunity to give people, because everybody's not visual.
That's
and one
correct.
of the great things, and
that
I'm sure you'll talk about, is that audio is very portable.
It is.
And I could be jogging or walking and listening to something, and I wanted to be a part of something that would have those kind of qualities to it that we could share with the listeners on those programs.
Right. Now, for those of you that are watching this video, to get a taste of what one of our audio products might be like is to simply just turn off your monitor and not watch us. Now, we prefer you watch us, but I mean, for the sake of the exercise, you can turn off the monitor for like maybe 5 or 10 minutes and just listen to us talk. And one of the things that people don't understand about audio, see, publishers, they tend to, they think of it in terms of product.
Right.
Okay, and I also think about product too. But being an entrepreneur, I like my projects and my products to serve multiple purposes. For example, like in an early episode, you know that I'm a big proponent of having a very visible cover,
right,
to put the website, so that we can receive a benefit even if someone doesn't buy it.
That's true.
Well, the audio product takes it to a whole different dimension. As you pointed out, Tony, not everyone likes to read. Okay,
True. Yeah.
all right. And even though I like to read, sometimes I want to get to know the authors better.
That's right.
And you can't. Sure, you can read their words,
right.
but it's been edited, it's been processed, it's been gone through all this process, becomes a book.
Yeah, you don't get the texture of the personality per se.
Exactly, and which is one of the reasons why we're doing this video is that you get to see us, you get to hear us, especially my bad speaking skills with all my ums and no's and all my bad habits, but. The thing about audio publishing is that it really gives the listener a way to immerse themselves and appreciate some of the subtleties that cannot come out in a book.
Yes.
And if done right, it can be entertaining or even hypnotic. Because one of the things that you pointed out is it reminded you, I think you said that it reminded you of radio.
Yes, yes. And from the standpoint that, most of the time when people are listening to the radio, they're not listening. It's there. But there will be things that all of a sudden you'll wake up to and you'll cue into it. And from the standpoint that you can do something else that would be a unconscious activity like drive and listen to the radio and be fully conscious of the radio program or the CD or whatever you're listening to, even though you're not really thinking about the fact that you're maneuvering through traffic, or you could be exercising or something like that. And I think because I see the value of being able to convey information to busy people being much more easily and readily done through audio publishing. I saw that what you were doing was an outstanding way to share your content with your listeners.
Yeah. Well, people are inherently, I think they're voyeuristic. In other words, they like to watch, and they like to be a fly on the wall. And that's why when we do these shows, or even with the other products, I don't like to read from a script. In some ways, writing a script and just reading it would be a lot easier, okay? Because you never make any mistakes, or very rarely if you read from a script. But I think that you lose something in reading a script versus some spontaneity, having some conversation. Now,
yeah, I totally agree.
Now, granted, you should, in a formal audio program, I do tend to have an outline of things we want to talk about and so forth. But I'm a big believer in capturing the voyeuristic tendencies. Now, that's why I don't like to do strict readings. That's why sometimes audio products are really great for recording seminars, workshops, interviews. So to me, gosh, audio products are among the easiest to produce.
That's true, and
it's
very
way
diverse.
easier than
Because, like you said, it's creating the product from things that people are doing all the time anyway.
Yeah.
I think the point, maybe one of the points you're getting at, is people don't think of those as opportunities to create product.
Right. And people, because the thing about it is we talk every day. Most of us talk every day. We're talking on the phone, or if we're giving advice, it's free. But it never occurs to people that what we say, especially if you give it some focus and you're trying to contain it, does have value.
Absolutely. I was thinking about this as you were relating to the fact that, well, he has a book on audio publishing. So from the standpoint that words are ideas, words were spoken long before they were ever written.
Yes.
And so our processing of ideas fundamentally evolved through the spoken word into the written. Of course, video and stuff came along much later, but I think it's very fundamental to human interaction. The great thing is, with media and all the methods to communicate, that we can transfer our ideas from one person to another through various means and not have to necessarily stop doing anything that would not be a natural thing in the course of you and I having this conversation, whether it be on the phone, person to person. You mentioned a seminar where you might be talking to an audience of 1,000 people or 100 people. That doesn't mean somebody 6 months from now can't listen to that clip and get the same information. It's not perishable, as a personal conversation would be. It becomes as sustained substantive as a written book. And I think that's one of the things that people value about books is you document something, it becomes a historical record. Yeah. Well, now we can do that with audio.
Well, with the audio, believe it or not, in the information selling business, audio sometimes is more valuable than text, if you can believe that.
Explain.
Well,
I hadn't thought about that.
Well, because see, most people see what the traditional publishers do. I mean, really, writing a book and sell for $20 sometimes is the hard way to go. Sometimes it's better to, create a higher end product, what we call a course, of which audio component is one of them. Now, in my case, the audio programs that you were involved with, it was meant to go on Amazon. Okay. It was meant to be a low price product, but I could have reset up the entire context.
Okay.
Where it became more of a high end product, and as a matter of fact, I do have a recording of one of the seminars I've just never released that had to do with seller financing. Oh. That would be more of a higher end product, and so to put on different hats here.
Right.
There is definitely an opportunity to connect with your listeners more, okay, your audience. They get to immerse themselves in your personality, but more importantly, it gives you an opportunity to create sellable product, okay? Now, when you have more product, even if you don't sell, the number of titles still says something.
That's true.
I know that for a fact. I mean, your credibility is really, really high. And so that's one of the reasons why I got into audio publishing, because I realized how easy it was. It was simple. It was a way to connect with my listeners in a different way, but it was also a way to introduce them to my higher end product. So, like for example, I had like a $10 CD, and sorry guys, I was obviously prepared. I should have brought it with me. But if you go to my website, ascendbeyond.com, you can see some shots of that, or go to amazon.com and type in Matthew Chan. You'll see some of my audio products. But in any case, I've sold a ton of those little guys.
Well, that's great.
They only cost me like $1 and a quarter to produce.
You can trade secrets, that.
I know. What can I tell you?
But hey, we're here to serve you guys.
Well, that's exactly it. And I don't think it takes anything away, because for $10 you get a lot of meat.
Yes.
And you don't have to read it. You get to listen to it. Where else are you going to get it for $10? You certainly can't hire me for $10. But right. You get to listen to me for an hour, and I give you some meat and potatoes. So it's just a wonderful proposition.
And you just reiterated something I said earlier. And again, for those of you who are considering doing publishing, looking at audio publishing, audio is the only medium where someone can be doing something else and still consume it.
That's a really good point. Like, even though when I started audio publishing, it was really to release CDs. Okay, back then MP3s weren't that big.
Right.
The iPods were probably just rolling out. So I was very much thinking about the CDs. However, having said that, it still does not diminish the power of audio publishing.
That's true.
Instead of CDs, we have MP3s. And we've got the iPods. And nowadays, for example, with the audio content, what I've done with some of my audio content is I've actually embedded it into a video file, just so that people have access to it.
Okay.
So like, because the thing about it is there's really no way to store these MP3 files in a big way anymore, except maybe on iTunes or something. Whereas there's a whole bunch of video hosting sites, like YouTube and all that. So, what I've done, like for example, my friend Oscar Michelin, we did a number of phone interviews in the last 2 or 3 years and we did it just because it was easy. We just never imagined this thing would ever grow.
Right.
So I just recently took all those phone conversations that were MP3s and I just embedded it into a video file.
So fundamentally, you get the soundtrack.
Yes.
No image.
Well, there's an image of us, and that's about it. A static
it's
image.
Not live. Okay.
That's right. Okay. That's right. But audio. But as you said, it doesn't take away that there are people that want to consume product while they're doing something else.
Right.
You can actually do it safely, because the problem with video, even though you can play a video on your cell phone, which is still sort of bandwidth and CPU intensive.
Yeah.
Is that
you can't drive it.
Well, you can't watch it. It's not safe.
Yeah. Not do something else.
Exactly.
Like drive.
So anyway, now in the next episode, we're going to get into a little bit more detail, and this is a bit of an introductory episode into audio publishing. Now, and I'm happy that Tony has had a taste of it. So, he's definitely well qualified to, have a conversation about with it. So do you have any other parting comments regarding audio publishing as a concept?
Well, I would certainly echo or expand, and we'll get into it, that as a way into publishing, the comments you made about titles and the strategies and the multiple products that can be manifest from something that you may very well do on a routine basis as part of your activities, profession, even attending something where someone else is speaking, and get into the publishing business. And Matthew's here to share with us how to do that.
Yeah, I really think that audio publishing is a good fit for book publishing, and I would even go to venture to say that my audio publishing products definitely help the sales of my print products.
Complementary benefits.
Yes. All right, well, thank you for tuning in to this episode of TurnKey Publishing, where we talk about audio publishing. In our next episode, we're going to talk more about the technical aspects of it.